So, dear student, our topic is chemical thermodynamics. Welcome to Chemistry Academy, Fajandar Junior College, Vahur. Now, in previous lecture, we have started our second topic of first paper, chemical thermodynamics. Now, so far, in case of chemical thermodynamics, we have covered system, surrounding, boundary, universe, type of system, that is open system, closed system, isolated system, and properties of system, extensive property and intensive property. Now let me revise the part so far which we have covered. First one is your system. Now what is system? So system, already we have discussed, a part of universe under thermodynamic investigation or under thermodynamic study. That part of universe is called as a system. Now second one is your surrounding. What is surrounding? Surrounding means we can say all other part of the universe outside the system, that is called as the surrounding. Now let me cover this example. This example is given to you: a cylinder which is enclosed with or which is filled with a gas. Okay, now this cylinder enclosed with or fitted with a piston. This part is called as a piston. So this gas inside the cylinder, this is called as the system, and this remaining part, it is called as the surrounding. And this wall of the cylinder, it is called as the boundary which separates system and surrounding. So this part is a real, or this boundary, it may be the imaginary. In last lecture we have covered. Now second one is your, after system and surrounding, the next part which we have covered, that is type of system. Now there are three types of the system. Okay, one is your open system, second one is your closed system, and third one is your isolated system. Okay, so these are the three type of system: open system, second one is closed system, and third one is your isolated system. So already we have discussed what is open system. Now open system means we can say a system which exchange both matter as well as energy with its surrounding, and that system is called as a open system. See, this is the best example of open system: a hot cup, or we can say hot coffee or tea in a cup. This vapors, it is called as the matter, and that hot material, coffee or tea, it comes cool down. This shows that the energy is transfer from system to the surrounding. Okay, and this system is called as a open system. Now this cup containing hot coffee or hot tea, it is covered with a plate. It is covered with a plate. So in this case, this matter means hot water vapor does not exchange or escape out or exchange between system and surrounding, but the hot material become cool or it cools down. So this shows that energy is transfer, but the matter is not transfer or exchange between system and surrounding, and this system is called as a closed system. Okay, so this is the example of your closed system. Now next one is your isolated system. Isolated system is the system which neither exchange energy nor matter with its surrounding, and that system is called as a isolated system. And the example of isolated system, it is the thermos or thermoflask containing hot coffee or hot tea. Okay, now this one is your type of system, or we can say terms used in thermodynamics. Okay, now next one, the properties of the system. So there are two properties of the system already we have discussed. One is your extensive property and second one is your intensive property. Now extensive property means we can say a property which depends upon a property which depends upon the amount of matter or quantity of material present in the system. See, which depends upon the amount of matter present in the system is called as extensive property, like your mass, or we can say volume, or internal energy, heat capacity, number of moles. So all are depends upon the quantity of matter. Now second one is your intensive property. What is intensive property? So the property which is independent of the amount of matter, which do not depends upon the amount of matter, that is called as the intensive property, like your pressure, temperature, okay, surface tension. Next one is your melting point, boiling point, density, specific heat. Now melting point, or we can say boiling point, why it is the intensive property? Temperature, pressure, density, why it is a intensive property? Because it do not depends upon the amount of matter. Just take the example of boiling point of water or density of water. Now the boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. Okay, so whether it is 1 ml of water, 10 ml of water, or the 1 liter, 2 liter of water, so it doesn't matter what is the quantity or amount, it remains same or it remains constant, and that's why it is called as the intensive property. And that is the basic difference between intensive property and extensive property. Now next one, after this, next one is your process. Next part of your topic and important part is the process. Now process means we can say the path followed by the system. Process means we can say the path followed by the system, and that path is called as the process. Now there are different types of process, or we can say total 6 types of process are there. One is your isothermal process, second one is your isobaric process, third one is your isochoric process, fourth one is your adiabatic process, fifth one reversible process, and sixth one is your irreversible process. So let me revise. Our concept is the process, and what is the definition of process? Path followed by the system means when initial state convert into final state. Initial state means we can say a reactant, and final state means we can say a product. So how this change will take place, that is called as the path. Okay, path followed by the system is called as the process. Now our first point in case of the process is isothermal process. Now see, dear student, you know iso means same, thermal means we can say temperature. Thermal means we can say temperature. Now what is isothermal process? The process in which temperature of the system remains constant throughout the transformation. What is isothermal process? A process in which temperature of the system remains constant throughout the transformation or throughout the process. Now temperature remains constant means when the system will change its state from initial state to final state, that temperature will remains constant. Suppose in initial state the temperature is T1, so that T1 remains T1 in final state, means there is no change in temperature, and the change in temperature it is represented by the symbol delta T, and here it is written as delta T is equal to 0. It means there is no change in temperature, and this process is called as the isothermal process. Now isothermal process actually it is temperature dependent. Internal energy also a temperature dependent. Internal energy also depend upon the temperature. Now internal energy, it is represented by U, and the change in internal energy, it is represented by delta U. What is internal energy? You know, internal energy means one, we can say, the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy, or the sum of all the form of energy associated with the system. सिस्टम में जितना भी एनर्जी रहेगा उन सब का एडिशन, ऑल फॉर्म ऑफ द एनर्जी associated with the system, that is called as the internal energy. Since internal energy is a temperature dependent, thermal process is a temperature dependent. If there is no change in temperature in isothermal process, so there will also no change in internal energy in case of the isothermal process, and this point you have to remember. So this is your first concept, isothermal process, the process in which temperature of the system remains constant, do not change throughout the transformation, and that process is called as isothermal process. Now next one is given isobaric process. What is isobaric process? Now actually bar, it is the unit of pressure. Bar, it is the unit of pressure, and iso means same. So isobaric process means we can say the pressure remains constant, the process in which pressure of the system remains constant during the transformation, means when initial state convert into final state, there will be no change in the pressure, and this system is called as a isobaric process. Now pressure, it is represented by P, but the change in pressure, it is represented by delta P. Change in pressure, it is represented by delta P. Now we are saying pressure remains constant, there is no change in pressure, so we can write here delta P is equal to 0. This 0 indicates that there is no change in the pressure throughout the transformation, and this is called as the isobaric process. Now next concept is given isochoric process. Now actually chor, this concept, a term used for the volume. Chor, this concept used for the volume. Now if I am saying isochoric process, means we can say the volume of the system remains constant during the transformation. If V1 is the initial volume of the system, so that V1 remains V1, so it is written as delta V is equal to V0. Delta V is equal to V0, and this process is called as a isochoric process. Okay, now next one is your adiabatic process. Actually adiabatic, this concept is related to the energy in the form of heat. Adiabatic process, this concept is related to the energy in the form of heat. Now what is adiabatic process? The process in which or there is no exchange of heat between system and surrounding. What is adiabatic process? A process in which there is no exchange of heat between system and surrounding, and this process is called as adiabatic process. Now heat, it is represented by symbol. Heat, it is represented by symbol Q. Heat, it is represented by symbol Q. Now we are saying there is no exchange of heat in the form of energy between system and surrounding, so we can write here Q is equal to 0, and this shows that the process is adiabatic process. And adiabatic process, it is the best example of insulated system, isolated system or insulated system. Okay, now these are the first four process, that is isothermal process, isobaric process, isochoric process, and adiabatic process. Dear student, next concept is given, that is a reversible process. Okay, what is reversible and irreversible process? Now before going to start the reversible process, let me discuss 2 points, reversible and irreversible process. Let me discuss 2 points. One is your driving force, and second one is your opposing force. And you are familiar what is driving force, what we call it driving force. Now driving force means we can say the force which is applied to perform the work. Driving force means the force which is applied to perform the work, and opposing force means which get back the process, which stop the process. Okay, and that force is called as the opposing force. So one is driving force and second one is your opposing force. Now our concept is reversible process and irreversible process. Now irreversible process means we can say the opposing force and driving forces are differ by a large amount. Driving forces and opposing forces are differ by a large amount, and that process it is called as a irreversible process. The driving force and opposing forces are differ infinitesimally by a large amount, and that process is called as the irreversible. It cannot be reversed. But what is the reversible process? Now reversible process means we can say the process in which driving force and opposing forces are differ by infinitesimally small amount. Driving force and opposing forces are differ by infinitesimally small amount. Now we are saying infinitesimally small amount means when the opposing force is greater, the process will be reversed, the system will be reversed. Okay, and this process is called as the reversible process. So what is the basic difference between reversible process and irreversible process? In reversible process, the difference between opposing force and driving force is infinitesimally very small, and in irreversible process the difference between opposing force and driving forces is infinitesimally large. So here it is written as a reversible process if the system in mechanical equilibrium with its surrounding. If the system mechanical equilibrium with its surrounding infinitesimally change with its surrounding infinitesimally change may cause the process to occur in reverse direction. The process to occur in reverse direction, because there is a small difference between driving force and opposing force, and this process is called as a reversible process. Now let me discuss one points, what are the properties of a reversible process and irreversible process. Here some points, some properties are given of the reversible process, and exactly we will discuss about irreversible. Now reversible process, you have written the driving and opposing forces differ by infinitesimally small amount. Opposing and driving forces differ by infinitesimally small amount. This process can be reversed. This process can be reversed by change in a condition, but irreversible process cannot be reversed by changing the condition. Now if I am saying this process can be reversed, so this process attain the equilibrium, because in 11th standard we have discussed what is the equilibrium. The process in which rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. If backward process take place means definitely this process will attain the equilibrium, but irreversible process do not attain the equilibrium. Now second one is the reversible process, it is a slow process. Reversible process, it is the slow process, and irreversible process, it is the fast process. Okay, reversible process it is slow process, and irreversible process it is a fast process. So first one is your isothermal process, second one is your isobaric process, third one is your isochoric process, fourth one is your adiabatic process, next one a reversible process, and last one is your irreversible process. So what is the process? The path followed by the system is called as the process. Okay, and these are the different types of the